Hello, I'm Paul.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Ben.
And welcome to the Film Busters podcast. The film show with no filters, no prisoners taken, loads of disagreements, but one hell of a love for cinema.
If you want to hear three friends ridiculing each other for an hour or so regarding their taste in films, then you have come to the right place.
In each episode, one of the team picks a film for us to discuss. It could be anything from a recent cinema release to an all-time classic.
So, strap in and get ready to get mad or get vindicated as we guide you through the murky world of being a film geek.
If you like what you hear, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram using @FilmbustersPod. You can also find each of our individual accounts. I'm at Filmbusters Paul.
I'm at Filmbusters Adam.
And I'm at Filmbusters Ben.
If you want to use your eyes instead of your ears, you can also visit the website at filmbusterspod.co.uk.
And if busting makes you feel good, you can also support us at patreon.com/filmbusters for exclusive content.
Or shoot over and get some groovy merchandise at society6.com/filmbusters.
Alright, can we just get on with this now, please?
Filmbusters.
There should be no excuses for Adam's any poor performance from young Adam today because he just watched it. He just finished watching the fucking film.
I did finish watching it.
You have. You can't say you've forgotten the first segment. Well, you can because you could have been looking at your phone, but you know.
Yes.
I actually have forgotten the first segment.
The first segment of this film. That's one segment.
I hate pinball, so I've just deleted it from my brain.
Oh, he remembers he was playing
now,
pinball.
Is that true? You delete pinball? Delete pinball. You don't like pinball?
No, I'm joking. I was just saying that.
Oh, okay.
Like,
what was that saying?
It's a line from the film that like you have to strike that from your mind. I was striking it from my...
Yeah. Strike that. Cut that.
Cut that.
It's Friday morning.
It is.
Oh, no, it's not.
It's not Friday morning.
Friday afternoon.
It's Friday afternoon. For once, we're actually doing an afternoon record.
Yes,
Friday afternoon.
You can see the energy's back a little bit.
Yeah.
It's true. We've just come out of a sweltering week, haven't we?
We have. It was so hot. It was like a hairdryer blowing on me while sitting in an oven.
Horrible. Tuesday was worse than Monday, I should say. Oh, what a furnace.
I think it was. It was.
I've had real trouble sleeping ever since then. Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and last night.
Monday night was fine. Monday to Tuesday was fine, and ever since Tuesday, it's just been a bit sticky.
Yes.
I've been fine sleeping ever since.
No, not
You guys
me.
are affected.
Yeah.
Maybe your insides have been cooked.
Yeah, maybe got just permanent heat stroke.
Maybe.
But I'll tell you something so here's a little trick for next heat wave that comes along. I'll tell you two tricks. One,
you lay on a little mat that's got ice on it.
Yeah, well, okay, so that's similar to one. It's basically take a hot water bottle and put it in the freezer instead. Use cold water and put it in the freezer, and then you sleep with that. That was very nice. And the second thing, which is highly effective, wonderful this is pieces of kitchen towel, damp them, put them in the freezer. A few hours later, they're like ice blocks that very slowly melt over about 15-20 minutes.
Are you screwing the tissues up? What are you doing?
No, just so you get get 2 square of kitchen towel.
Yeah.
Fold them once, so it's like a strip of rectangle. Damp it, don't twist it, just make it all wet and then lay it out in the freezer. Oh, delish. Wonderful on your head.
Why are you eating them?
You eat them at the end. When they're all gone soggy, you eat them. You could probably try and eat them. How did you keep cool, Adam?
I just went to work and stayed in a basement.
Yeah, aircon.
Yes.
He just had his tongue hanging out.
Yeah. I was fine in the basement. Monday was fine. Tuesday was just disgusting.
And Monday wasn't fine. Monday was still horrible. Tuesday was worse. How did you keep cool, Paul?
I had made the mistake of having the windows open at first, and then I was this is just blowing in hot air.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, close the windows, close the blind, and then I just had the fan on.
And somehow we all survived. We made it.
We made it.
We made it through. Although there was a big fire behind your mum's house, you said.
There was. I don't know what happened with it. I thought someone was having a bonfire, which I thought was a very stupid idea in such hot weather.
Yeah.
And then, then I realised it was actually a massive, long strip of fire that was just bellowing smoke out, and the fire engine just couldn't get to it, and they must have got to it in the end, or it just went out on its own because it didn't overtake the neighbourhood, so it was fine. It's very terrible, the images of all these houses all burnt down.
One of the security guards at work, whose house burnt, or the house next to him burnt down.
Oh,
and they said it was like 2 meters away from getting his house.
Nuts.
And then it rained a
yikes.
bit, and it kind of helped dampen it.
Yikes.
It's scary. Literally cannot do anything. Anyway,
Anyway, today's the day.
Today's the day. It's our last film of 1982. I'm all very excited for this.
Oh, sad times.
I know. I feel this round's gone very quickly.
Yes, it's because we weren't podcasting for so long.
Yeah.
We've bashed out an entire round immediately.
Bashed out an entire round.
And
Today,
we're off to a new year afterwards.
Yes. We will
But
reveal
not
what
yet.
that will be at the end of this episode. All very exciting stuff. We're in 1982. This
Yes.
is Ben's pick. What are we doing today?
Oh, well, today we're doing The Verdict. Paul Newman.
I'm going to sneeze.
Sneeze.
Not coming.
Keep it in.
Your
I think
eyes will
it's
fall
going to
out.
stay in. It's going
Look
to
up at
stay
the
in.
light. Look up at the light.
Your eyes will
It's
fall out
already
if you
gone.
don't get
It's
it out.
already gone.
Your eyes will
Highly
fall out. Your eyes will
They were going to
explode
fall out.
your
They were
face.
like twitching.
They were bulging.
They were. Yeah, The Verdict. None of us have seen this film. It
Nope.
was a nice little pick.
I
like
didn't
when we
really
haven't
heard
seen
of it
anything.
either.
Yeah, I only saw a picture of it when I was just looking up what came out in 1982.
Yes. The picture looks like he's drinking coffee, but really he's just leaning on a windowsill, and it's his cuff.
Letting in that breeze.
Isn't that cool breeze?
You like your film characters drinking coffees, don't you, Ben?
Coffee is a magical thing. You know, like the reason that David Lynch, I think, loves coffee so much and puts it all over Twin Peaks is because it really is magic. It is, you can just, a cup of coffee. When you want to wake up in the morning, nothing beats it for me. It makes me feel alive. But a cup of coffee, at some point in the day, it suddenly sparks you, and it is magic. It's a little bit of magic on Earth.
See, I think the same about tea. And coffee, to be fair, but more tea.
You think that David Lynch likes a frappuccino?
No, he only drinks it black.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you wouldn't have a cappuccino.
No, he wouldn't have a kappa. Just
Oh.
black as midnight on a moonless night.
Would he have sugar, do you reckon?
No sugar.
Sweetener?
No sweet.
That's good. No one should
He'll
have
have,
sweetener.
he'll have a slice of cherry pie on the
He
side.
He would.
And he'll
Oh,
tell you what the weather's like today.
most certainly. And he would say, do you watch his weather reports?
I don't watch some of them. I don't watch them all the time.
Love
Do you
them.
still do them?
Yeah, every day he's been doing it for the last few years. And every Friday he goes, and if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again.
What's he
Every
going to do if
Friday.
he goes on holiday?
He just doesn't.
He just doesn't,
Just doesn't
go
go
on
on
holiday.
holiday.
He would go, it's July 22, and if you can believe it, it's a Friday once again.
Well, this is probably going to come out on July 29, so...
There you go. Time-stamped it for people.
Yeah, just so you know when we're recording.
Yes.
Yeah.
In case anyone at work's listening.
Anyway, no one gives two shits about this stuff.
Yeah, we're doing The Verdict. That's what we're doing today. I don't know how we got onto David Lynch. I can't remember.
Coffee.
Talking about coffee. Oh, he was drinking coffee on the cover. That's what it
Looked
was.
like it.
Yes, there we go. Just before we move on to actually be talking about a little bit about the film with the quiz, we're just going to say we've got a Patreon episode coming out after this. And if you don't know, we've got a Patreon. It's at www.patreon.com/filmbusters. We have exclusive episodes in there. We've got some wonderful people over there. And you can basically control the show as a patron. It's all very cool. Adam, what are we doing today after this episode on the Patreon channel?
We're talking about courtroom dramas. Not courtroom dramas, courtroom scenes in films that involve a court or a jury or some type
three.
of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Top 3.
Top 3, yes. We've all got 3, haven't we, Adam?
I do have 3. I'll have 3 by the time we record it.
I bet you will. It's always the way. But yeah,
That
we're
topic
doing that.
was picked before I saw the film.
Yes. So I wonder if it's going to make the list.
Ah, well, you know, who knows this?
Well, I'm
We're
sure
gonna find out.
We'll find out very soon. Ben, do you want to do
Yeah.
your staple of every episode?
Oh yeah, questions. So we do a quiz every episode, new listeners, where I ask the boys 2 questions. If they get it right, they get a point. If they get it wrong, I get the point. We keep tally. We do this every year, you see. Currently, I'm the host. Next year, it's on track for Paul to be the host since he's winning this year. But the current scores, if you care to know, are Paul is on 23 points, Benny Boy is on 12 points, and Adam is on 9 points.
Disgraceful.
Yes, disgraceful. This one's going to be a little bit interesting, this one.
Oh, good.
So, I got a bonus question.
Didn't you say that every week?
So that means it's 3 questions.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
They all relate to the verdict, ladies and gentlemen. So if you've been watching, you can play along at home. Are you ready for the first question?
Let's do this.
In the dialogueless, cold opening scene of the movie, tell me the 3 things that Frank does.
Drinks, plays pinball, and has a coffee.
I'm going to give you the point because you got 2 out of 3.
Shit, I couldn't think of the last
Paul,
one.
out of interest, would you like to take the 3rd thing he does in that scene?
Wait, let me play this through in my head. But you're not telling me what ones are correct.
Pinball and drinks is correct.
Okay. Makes a phone call.
Dialogueless.
Oh, right. I was only going to say he plays pinball and drinks. That's what I was going to say. I don't know
Plays
what the third one is.
pinball, drinks a lager, and smokes a cigarette.
Oh, right.
There you go.
Very good.
Very good.
You deserve it,
Now-
Adam.
Okay.
Very good, Adam.
We'll make it interesting, basically. I'll get the sympathy point.
Second question, same setting. When Frank is telling a joke to the patrons in the bar room, what is the punchline to his joke?
Oh, shit. Oh, okay, wait. My mind's blanking.
Remember, because it's actually quite a good joke as well.
Yeah, it is.
I hate these moments.
Starts off as what you think is going to be a crap joke, and then the punchline's quite funny.
I'm out. I can't remember it.
Oh dear.
I hate when this happens. You know, you're like, I just got to try and think through the film, and then you can't even think of anything.
I
Literally
can
nothing's
picture
coming to your
everything
head.
happening. I can see him standing there. It's a bit snowy. It's like almost Christmas time.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm out.
It involved a woman or something, didn't it?
It didn't.
I'll tell you the joke
Can't
and then
remember.
see
Go on.
if you can think of the punchline. They got this new bar. You go inside for $5, you get
Oh,
a beer,
yeah.
a free lunch, and they take you in the back room. They get you laid.
Oh, yes. My sister always used to go. I can't remember what it was.
Close enough. You don't get the point, but
No.
close enough. Because it ends up with him going, have you ever been in the bar? And he says, no, but my sister has.
Okay, yeah.
Very good. That's a point for me.
you
No
go.
points for Paul so far.
That's
Now,
fine.
Are you ready for the bonus question, boys?
Do it.
Listeners, in order for you to play along to this one, you might just have to look underneath the Twitter post that had this episode on so I can attach this picture to it. Because I'm going to send you boys a picture in our WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Okay. And I want both of you, you don't say it out loud, I want both of you to message me on the side if you can tell me who the 2 famous extras are in this scene. Don't say it out loud.
Okay.
Now, I've taken a picture, listeners, just so you know, I've taken a picture from a scene that takes place right at the end of the film. There's 2 extras in this scene who would go on, one of whom would go on to become extremely famous, the other famous in certain circles. But they are people that we should know. And if you don't know the actor's name, I'll take a character that they play as well. So I will have... I'm waiting for the boys to WhatsApp me their answers. I've already got one from Adam. I'm not going to say if he's right until I've had both choices from Adam and both choices from Paul.
I'm not going to put anything because I don't recognise anyone. I can't even see
don't
their
know
faces.
the second person, Ben.
Really now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that when I watched it, I wasn't like, oh, that's that person. So I don't know.
I've gone for De Niro, Paul.
Yeah. do you want to take a second guess as well for the other person?
I think it's the guy in the middle, behind
Alright,
the lady
boys.
in the blue top.
Okay. I'm going to zoom in on the picture on the 2 individuals that I'm
I
talking
think
about.
De Niro's on the right-hand side behind the guy, the guy who's actually involved in the case. What's his name?
Right. I'm going to crop this image.
It looks like him.
That's not Harvey Keitel, is it? No.
Neither of you are getting any points here. This is a point for me, but let's see if you can tell me.
This is
who-
going to play out really well for all the listeners.
No, yeah, well, listen, I've cropped it. The image is the person on the left and the person on the right. Tell me who
See,
they
I
are.
said the guy
the
behind
2 men.
the blue
What, the
woman.
2 men?
The 2 men, either side of that woman with the perm.
I recognise the guy on the left, but I don't know who it is.
The guy on the right is the really famous one.
It looks like Dennis Reynolds.
He doesn't look like anyone to me.
All right, so I'll tell you, man on the left, Tobin Bell, John Kramer from Saw.
Oh, I can kind of see it now, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that looks like him, though.
I can see it. Now, the one on the right, imagine him without any hair on his head at all.
Sting.
What is it? Is it Mike from Breaking Bad?
Would you believe it if I told you that that was Bruce Willis?
Oh,
Is
wow.
Is
Yeah.
it really?
And there's many shots of him in that final scene.
I can see it, to be honest.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Was he just
That
an
is
extra?
interesting.
So there we go. Jigsaw and Bruce Willis
Wow.
were in the audience when the verdict was read out.
That's pretty special.
That's 2 points to Ben, 1 point to Adam. I'll take
Good
that as a
trivia.
victory. Look at
Good
that.
trivia.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that means Paul is languishing on 23. I'm on 14 and Adam is on 10. Is there a change in the wind? You got double figures. There might be a change in the wind.
Maybe. Should we move on to the verdict?
Yes.
I'm an attorney. I'm on trial before the bar, representing my client. My client. You open your mouth, you're losing my case for me.
Now listen to me,
No, you listen to me. All I want on this trial was a fair shake. Okay? Push me into court 5 days early. I lose my star witness, and I can't get a continuance, and I don't care. I'm going up there, I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna let the jury decide. You know, they told me about you. Said you're a hard ass, you're a defendant's judge. Well, I don't care. I said to hell with it, to hell with it.
Look, Galvin, many years ago,
Come on. Hey, don't give me that shit about you being a lawyer, too. I know about you. You couldn't hack it as a lawyer. You were a bag man for the boys downtown, and you still are. I know about you.
are you done?
You're damn right I'm done. I'm going to ask for a mistrial. I'm going to request that you disqualify yourself from sitting on this case. I'm going to take a transcript of the trial to the Judicial Conduct Board and ask that they impeach your ass.
You aren't going to get a mistrial, boy. We're going back there this afternoon and we're going to try this case to the end. Now you get out of here before I call a bailiff and have you thrown in jail.
Right, everyone, today we're doing the verdict from 1982 by Sidney Lumet.
Lumet
And
and David Mamet
Oh, yes. This
and
is a
Paul
spoiler episode.
Numet.
Yes. This is a spoiler episode. So if you're not seeing this film, we are going to spoil it for you and let you know what happened. So you might want to go watch it first, then come back and listen to the episode. Otherwise, just let yourself get spoiled. We don't really mind. Before we move on to Adam's little breakdown of what this film's about, we're just going to say one person that has been in a film before that we have covered on the Filmbusters podcast.
Is it Paul Newman in Cars?
We've not done Cars. No, you know that.
Is it Bruce Willis in Glass?
Yes.
If
You've got to
if he
change
was-
it up now.
If he was
if he was
credited.
actually credited, he would have been appearing.
Hasn't
yes.
Tobin Bell been in a film before?
Maybe.
We haven't done a Jigsaw. We haven't done a Saw.
Yeah, but
on
he's
this,
been
have
in
we?
like Exorcist 3 or something like that, I'm pretty sure.
No, he hasn't.
I'm pretty sure you said at some point. Or it might have been when you told me he was in Seinfeld. But
Samuel L. Jackson was in Exorcist 3.
He was. He was an angel, wasn't he?
He was talking on the radio.
must be talking to an angel.
No, you're all incorrect. It's not. It's actually the girlfriend.
Oh,
kind of
hang on.
girlfriend.
Now, she has a really distinctive face. What
Yeah.
the fuck has she been in that we've
You'd
done?
know her as an older lady.
She's
Yeah.
in June.
Charlotte Rampling.
Yes. What the
This
hell's
is
she
Laura,
been in?
who's the kind of girlfriend.
What the hell's she been in that we've done?
June.
She's the mum in Melancholia, right?
Oh, okay.
Now, if you actually Google her, you'll be like, oh, it's that woman.
Yes. I know what she looks like as an older person. Yeah.
It was also in Dexter in the last season.
Oh, really?
Was anyone really in that?
A
They're
few
all just
people were.
there in physical, not in spirit.
Very good.
Speaking of Dexter, you know Barry.
Yes.
Like it's a great show on its own merit, absolutely. But it kind of like as an original idea is Dexter, kind of.
Yeah.
It is just Dexter, but treated differently.
It's Dexter, but he gets paid for it.
Yeah, hitman rather than serial killer.
Yeah.
But
He's not a
same sort of.
policeman officer.
I need to try and be normal. I need to try and be like these other people.
True. But he does it out of he doesn't even want it. He does it out of just getting paid rather than an urge.
Yeah, but he's not all about the money either, though, is he?
No, it just he just keeps falling into it where he has to use his skills to take people out.
Much like Paul Newman in this film. He's doing it for the money. At least when we meet him at first, he is.
Well, what is this film about, Adam?
This film is about a lawyer who's a bit down on his luck, let's say. He's not really the best lawyer in town. And he eventually gets given this case. They say, settle it. And he goes, nah, fuck this. I'm taking you guys to court. Everyone's like, no, settle it. You're stupid. And then eventually he takes them to court. And, yeah. He proves he's a good lawyer.
Or does he?
Or does he? Is he a good lawyer, but a bad human?
Or is he? Ben, you got any facts about this film?
Not too much.
Bruce Willis was in it.
Yeah, I blew my load with those extras. that's my trivia. I ain't got too much, to be honest with you. The May director, David Mamet, screenwriter, nominated for 5 Oscars. This was written by David Mamet at a time when he was like a theatre writer. People didn't think that he would want to write for a film, but he jumped at the opportunity to do so. But then when he wrote it, lots of people didn't like the draft that he had written because he actually ended it before the verdict got read out. That was his ending.
I hope the film wasn't called The Verdict.
It was, that's the thing. And so the producers would write him sarcastic notes and they would like say, shouldn't this be called The Verdict with a question mark at the end? And he got annoyed because he was like, well, you don't always need closure on these things. Anyway, as it transpired, lots of actors came and went, lots of directors came and went. Robert Redford even was going to do it, but he went because he couldn't see eye to eye with Mamet. He didn't like the character of Frank. But then when Sidney Lumet came in, he said, I want the original script that David wrote, but you got to change the ending. And because David Mamet liked Lumet so much, it was like, okay, I'll give a verdict. I'll write a verdict. And he bowed to the pressure.
You bow to the pressure.
Yes.
Cool. So this is your film as well, Ben. So you can actually just decide who you want first impressions to go in what order, in whatever order that sentence goes.
I'm going to go first. Then I'm going to go Adam. Then I'm going to go. We'll do reverse film busters.
Okay.
Reverse film.
I'm always in the middle of the sandwich.
Bap.
Yeah, you are.
Like
Well,
that.
you can go first next time.
Bap.
It's your pick, so you
Bap.
can go first. BAP. So I picked this film because it was so highly rated and it was one that none of us had seen, so I kind of wanted to go that way. There's lots of big films in 1982 that we've glazed over. People might be like, why didn't you pick that? But I feel like we needed something that none of us had seen that was quite highly rated. And I was disappointed. I was very disappointed because I was waiting for something that was going to be really well written with some great dialogue because of how much I love David Mamet's writing style, and I didn't get that. Even in the dialogue moments, there was nothing particularly human or quotable or memorable. It wasn't the kind of movie to be quotable, but there was no dialogue to really grip me as it was going through. And because it was such a slow film, which I didn't mind it being a slow film, I thought when the dialogue came out, it needed to be more impactful and powerful to grab me into the story. Because even though we were dealing with a case of a woman who had been treated terribly by her doctors and was in this coma, I never felt bad about that because we didn't get the chance to. We didn't get close to her. We didn't really feel the family's suffering. I know we had scenes of the sister upset and her husband upset, but I didn't really feel their emotion or their anger. I never really felt Frank having this revelatory moment where he was like, no, this is terrible, I've got to do the right thing. I didn't buy into any of it. The only emotion I bought into in the film really was James Mason, the other lawyer, who was like, we need to win at all costs. I believe that he was just doing that old school lawyer thing of fuck the truth, we're going to win this case. So it was a strange experience because I didn't dislike the film. I just didn't enjoy it. I was expecting great things, and when we get to the verdict at the end, it's like, yeah, okay. Even his final speech was like, that wasn't inspiring. I think it was a film that tried to say, ultimately, even when all the systems are against you and when judges are being corrupt and lawyers are being corrupt and doctors are being corrupt, the truth will out, humanity will do the right thing. But I just didn't really buy it. So it was disappointing. I ain't gonna lie, it was a disappointing experience.
Cool.
Interesting. So I wasn't completely blown away with this film, but I'm a bit higher than Ben was with it. The problem I had with it is the storyline was kind of established in the first 40 minutes, and it didn't really change after that. There wasn't any big revelations throughout it, and the only big revelation is the verdict. And I think it's quite interesting what you said before, where I don't know, I feel like this film could be better without it. I mean, you knew that verdict, that's the verdict. You don't need that bit. You knew that they were going to win it. It's like the film's just written and going in that direction the whole time, isn't it? So, yeah. I, however, did quite enjoy the what you call it bit, the little speech. I would say I did kind of enjoy that. I thought that was heartfelt.
Okay.
And it was kind of a nice, like, that's kind of the message of the film. And I think that only the message, not only of the film for like the law, but for that people yourself as well. It's because that's what he is. I found him quite an interesting character, but it didn't really develop at the same time, which is slightly annoying. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I just don't know how much I remember it in a year's time.
What are you about to say since you watched it this morning?
I mean, if I watched this at the beginning of the week, I might be saying that.
Yeah,
It wouldn't even surprise me if you just said that. I don't think how much I remember it.
you've got past form being like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Let's hear it then from you, Paul.
Okay, so immediately I think this film suffers because we don't have the most likeable lead to start. So he's like sponging off of people's laughs like a leech. He seems to be looking for an easy payday, and then the character just has like a heel turn, and suddenly he's like the opposite of all those things and wants the very best for his client and seems to actually feel remorse for some reason, and I think that's just unclear. It just happens, and it's almost like that beginning bit was wasted. It's like, why didn't they could have made him like a really great guy and would have felt more for when he's winning the case, but he never really seems bothered. But then as a courtroom drama, it isn't too exciting either or surprising. As Adam said, you know what's going to happen by the end, because he's not going to lose, is he? It's a film. I mean, I'd be surprised. It might actually bring this film up a point if they actually just lost it, but he doesn't. And then we seem to only get wind of certain facts when it seems valuable to the current scene. I feel like things get revealed when they need to reveal them. But we never heard those things before. Like just the backstory of like the woman in the bed. Suddenly there was this nurse at the end. Everything seemed to happen without really having like any good backstory to bring them up suddenly. And then also the judge is so obviously corrupt and like swinging in favour of the defence. And like, I'm not even sure how he could legally get away with it.
No.
Wouldn't have
I've
happened.
got points to say about that shit as well.
Like Frank Galvin literally has no evidence, and we're like unaware of like any way he could get out of it. And then Sonny just fairly easily just has it. And the jury are so in favour of it, they're for some reason asking at the end, "Oh, can we give him more money? Can we give him more money?" It's like, when is that actually a thing that happens? Can the jury say, "Can we give them more money"? That is just madness. I'm not sure if like that's how the court system works, or if you're even allowed to like go for a case. Like, can you even the lawyer go to trial if his client doesn't want to? Is that a thing? I don't know.
I don't think you can. You have to settle what the client wants.
It's the client. I don't know, but it was okay. I enjoyed Noom's performance. I've a lot of time with him for some reason. It might be because of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I like that film, so maybe it's just because of that. But I did kind of enjoy the idiot judge because of how much of an idiot he was. He brought a bit of levity for how corrupt he was.
He was an old coot, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did you like his eyebrows though?
Yeah, they were massive.
Yeah, very good. It just gave me enough amount of enjoyment just to be fine, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to apologise almost. When I finished watching it, I was like, I half feel bad that I picked it for the podcast now.
Man, that is highly rated.
It is highly rated. Well, this is what we can
nominated for
talk
5
about.
Oscars. Come on now.
So the thing, when it first ended, I was like, well, maybe it was really good at the time because 1972, these sorts of things weren't happening. And then I was like, no, this is 82. This is 82. it feels like the kind of film that should have been made in 72 and would have had all the plaudits. But in 82, surely there were better stories than this, more evolved stories than this, because at its heart, it's not really about truth and honesty. It's mainly the redemption of this Frank character. That's what it ultimately ends up being about.
But at the same time, we don't get enough of Frank's character to be like he needs that redemption.
Well, here now. So, interesting what you said about him. At the end of this, I thought, I don't know if I like Paul Newman's acting style, because every time I see him, he is always this. He's cool hand Luke. He's there. He's just chilled. He's just he's calm, almost disinterested to be acting. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like he's there and he's like, yeah, I'm an actor. Just let me come and do this thing. Let me just do this.
I'm Paul Newman. I do this.
Okay.
I'm Paul Newman. Let me just read my lines. Oh, yes, it's very sad that this is happening. I'm going to try and go there tomorrow. Yeah, I'll try and go tomorrow. Now it's tomorrow. Yeah, I'm here. I said I would come yesterday. What is this? Give me a little. Let me get into your life, mate. Do you know? Let me actually be in your life. I never felt he was a real person.
Because I don't think they give him any depth, really.
But they try to. They make him this alcoholic who's an ambulance chaser, and they do this whole fucking backstory about he was caught bribing this jury member or some judge or whatever it was. But despite all of that, it's like, but that is not the man I'm seeing on screen. I'm just seeing this man on screen who seems disinterested.
Yeah, it is all very surface. Like, you get his backstory by people saying he bribed someone, he did this. Oh look, he's drinking. But you never get like any real emotion from him, really.
No,
this is what I'm saying about the plot. It doesn't really evolve anywhere. I mean, apart from him having like this, like, I'm going to prove myself, but that happened kind of fairly on, and then you're taking through the motions until he kind of gets his verdict.
You're right. It is the opening 40 minutes. It's told in the opening 40, and then we've got to just ride it out after that.
In a case that there's literally no twists and turns in the case. It's literally the twist and turn comes from
the only twist was probably the nurse getting her thing and then getting it removed.
That was it. Yeah, that was the twist and turn in the case. But the twist of she was an undercover for the opposing lawyers.
All right, so
I didn't see that coming.
So I saw that.
Okay.
I knew that from the minute she was in the bar the second time. I was like, right, she is working for the opposite side. But what I didn't see coming was that other guy, the doctor, who he first built his entire case around. Like, that was a good plot point when he turns up and the guy's just not there. And then he's like, I've got a meeting.
I saw that coming.
I didn't see that coming. So that was like effective. That was when I was hooked in and I was like, okay, game on. After that, it let me down.
They lean too heavily on there's no doubt about it, we're going to win this case because I have all the evidence. It was all like, this is going too easy. If he's just going to come and like ruin the show for the other lawyers.
I thought maybe that was kind of like the real kicker, that he had this one guarantee from this guy, so that is how he was going to be able to take on this mass system, corrupt system. And the other twist, in a way, which you boys tell me, right? How did you feel about the fact that, okay, I've got this second doctor who's going to back me up, and he's all excited for his arrival, and then as the people are piling off the train, you see Paul Newman's face drop as he realises the doctor is black.
That was just weird. That was just like completely out of character with the film. I was like, have I missed something here?
No, I think it's true to life. It's just
yes.
It's not that Paul Newman is like, oh my god, it's a black man as he's being racist. It's more like at that time they live in a racist world.
Yeah.
We still live in a racist world, but especially racist back then. And if a black doctor's on the what do you call it, in the witness box, then they're immediately going to have their backs up because there's just racist people generally in the world. That it's more likely if he had a white doctor that his whatever story he's telling is going to fly.
Yeah.
So I didn't take judgment against it. If that's just the way of the times.
It was just like no need in this film.
Well, I did think there was a need for it personally, because I thought, okay, he's just been let down massively, so he already knows the odds are against him. okay, here's this other doctor who's going to back him up. He's got a glimmer of hope, and then again for him, it's dashed because he's like, no one's going to believe him because he's black. Now that bit I thought was good. What I didn't then like was what happened with that black doctor's character, because to throw us back many years ago, almost to our Green Book episode, he half turned into, for me, that stereotypical magical Negro character who was unflappable on the witness stand and was being, oh, you don't understand, I've done this, I understand that. Every time they were criticizing him, he was like calm, zen, above it. And then even afterwards, when he leaves the courtroom and he goes to Paul Newman's character, I take it you don't want me, and Paul Newman's like, no, you can go. And he's like, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. It's like he's he meant to be like this mythical character who doesn't care about what's going on around him. That's what it kind of felt like. It was like a character coming in going, yeah, he's black, we're going to use him for his blackness to make a point in the courtroom, but we're going to preserve him still as this cleaner, holier than thou black character who comes in and out for this. I was hoping he was going to return at the end in some capacity, but he didn't, so it became almost like this ridiculous character.
Like a figment of imagination, like Santa Claus.
He looked great. He looked cuddly as hell.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit of a win for him. They could have spun the fact that he was unsure whether being a black doctor would like go against him in the courtroom. But if they gave him a little win, it would have been like, yes, that didn't matter. They didn't. They did as you said. He just like kind of came and went and didn't even make waves. Yeah,
he didn't make waves. And also, I was thinking, like, when he arrived and Paul Newman was like, oh, you're going to come sleep in my apartment? And he's like, I've got a hotel. He's like, no, you sleep in my apartment. I was thinking, man, if that was me, I'd be like, I'm staying in the hotel. I've paid my money. It is non-refundable, and I need my space. That guy would have lost all his money and wouldn't have got any of the benefits of being in a hotel. No chocolate mint on the pillow, no breakfast buffet, none of that. He would have had to listen to Paul Newman drinking away into the night.
All inclusive, he had.
All
Didn't
inclusive.
Even get anything.
It was his first time in New York or wherever the fuck they lived. He wanted to make the most of it.
You'd have stayed in a sweaty apartment.
Yeah. So
I still think it was a kind of a pointless plot point. There's no need to put it in there. It just.
I think I agree with Ben that I think it added more to everything going against Paul Newman.
The odds being against him.
Yeah. But this, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that the odds being against him. It was a bit obvious with the judge. He was over the top. But it didn't do enough. Like, it wasn't complicated enough that the case, they could have made it a bit more interesting, where at the end it was just like, we just found one person and it just destroyed the whole case. I wanted a little bit more, to make it a little bit more complicated.
But do you think that we're meant to think that it wasn't just that one nurse's testimony at the end that swung the whole thing, that actually, because I'm guessing that speech that Frank did at the end, you know, that whole faith thing, is that the decency of people is that they've seen through all the bullshit of this. They've seen through the fact that the judge was basically arguing against me in my opening questioning of that guy. They've seen against the fact that they were trying to dismiss that black doctor, and they've seen through the fact that the judge has said throw out her testimony. So it wasn't necessarily just that final testimony that did it, but it was this series of events that led to that point.
Probably most definitely the speech.
I mean, that speech did nothing for me. I thought like that's meant to be the climactic moment. I'm sure that fucking speech is what got Paul Newman his Oscar nomination. It didn't really do nothing to me.
No,
for me.
I don't think it did.
It was just the opening scene, right, where he's doing pinball and drinking and smoking. Just that scene, and then it fading out. I thought this is going to be an amazing film because it felt so fucking moody. I loved that. I still do. That shot.
It reminded me of Copland.
Yeah, it is.
Sylvester Stallone playing the pinball.
But it was just like so. Something felt really cool about it as well. It felt classy. Like that's the poster. That should have been the poster for the movie. It would have been a lot more accurate to represent what the film was about. But then after that, that style kind of went away, and it became just very slow, laboured. Everything felt kind of uninspired about it. It wasn't very life. It wasn't really full of life.
I think I never grew to really like his character. It's just
no, I didn't.
Like he it was always minimal effort for him. That's what it felt like. I don't feel like he was hard working to get to the truth.
This is why, I mean, that's what I keep thinking about, that the plot didn't develop, because you didn't realise that you had to come, it was just kind of step by step.
Yeah, it was step by step.
And then
it was
he was
like
just
things were falling into his lap at times to
Yeah,
be like,
that was
okay, I'll
felt
react
like.
to this.
And then he'll just go home and be like, it's over. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I'm not going to win. It's like, you haven't even been trying, mate. What have you done?
I know. I mean,
You've just lost these people loads of money that you could have just settled on.
I know. So what you said about the judge, literally, all of these people would have been struck off. The judge would have been fucking, surely your judge can't argue against you when you're questioning a witness. He would have been fired. Paul Newman would have been fired for not telling his clients that a big offer had been made. And also James Mason, the other lawyer, would have been fired for going to Paul Newman's clients and saying to them, oh, we made an offer, because you're not allowed to do that. So all three of the leading legal professionals would have been fired in the real world. Although, would they? Because in the real world, there's a lot of corrupt fucking lawyers too.
I'm also pretty sure that you can't just bring a witness into a courtroom that hasn't been like registered with the actual case, because the other lawyers need to know about it.
That's
When
what he
was
said.
that?
That's why he got taken off. The nurse.
Yeah,
That's why the thing got written away.
like,
didn't
come
it?
on, man. You should have. Surely, Paul Newman, you could have known that. You're a fucking lawyer.
I know, but it's movies though, isn't it? Like we've got to accept in our movies that things that happen in the courtrooms aren't going to be representative.
Wait till you hear our Patreon bill. I think everyone I've got is representative of a royal courtroom.
Well,
Yeah.
the funny thing is watching this movie after having obsessively, as I did, watch the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, because that was gripping and that was real life, whereas this was dull and this was fiction.
Yeah.
Not dull. That's harsh. It wasn't dull.
Like, I don't think there was any moment in the court case. Like, I've seen many court films, and like it gets to that point where you're like on the edge of your seat, like, oh shit, like this is where the tide's going to turn. I didn't feel any of that. I haven't even seen that film yet.
That's going to be one of Adam's then.
Nah.
Like, I didn't feel there was any moment when I was like, oh shit, here we go.
Yeah.
It was just like blah 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 blah. I was just watching
know.
it. I was enjoying the judge shutting shit down more than
enjoyed his
the actual
eyebrows.
case.
The judge was full of character, but so
Yeah.
was that opposing lawyer, James Mason. I liked him because he seemed like this kindly old man, but he was ruthless.
But he had the strategy. I enjoyed his strategy
Yeah,
because
he
he
did have
actually his stuff that he was doing was like, oh shit, that's a good idea. Like he's like manipulating to get the answer he wants from people and stuff. And I enjoyed that. Paul Newman did fuck all.
No, you're right. Paul Newman didn't. I think it's because he was drunk, mate. And also he was working alone. Let's not forget he was a single solitary lawyer. You know, he didn't have a team around him, whereas Mason had how many lawyers telling that one guy, oh yeah, better send a ham roast to your wife because you ain't going on holiday till this is over. I'm like, fuck you, man. I'm going on my holiday. As if you're going to tell me the
brought
day
this.
before my holiday I'm not going on holiday to come work on your case. You've got 50 men
I actually
here.
put the leave in with you and you accepted it.
Yeah. Are you going to cover my expenses or my hotel? Everyone's losing out on their hotel money in this film.
I just hate
Crazy.
hotels.
I liked the scene where they were coaching that doctor when they were like, what happened? And he says, she expelled blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you mean she threw up in her mask? Just say it. Just say it. Don't hide from it. It sounds dishonest. And I liked that because it's like, yeah, it's true. If you try and talk around it, it
You
makes
can't
you seem
use your
guilty.
science.
Yeah, I do
So just
enjoy
say
that.
it.
It's like coaching the witness. That's
Yeah.
interesting. It's like you don't want to seem like you're not kind of believing your own words, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was interesting, but it was just very forgettable, as you say, Adam. It's just not something I'm really going to think about again. Because
exactly
the
the same.
only thing, nothing I took from the court case, I don't believe in the power of the human spirit because they voted in favour. The only thing that I saw was a man down on his luck at the beginning who had this redemptive moment, and by the end, he's clean and sober. I liked the end scene. I liked how it bookended the story. It begins with him playing fucking pinball and drinking beer, and it ends with him not needing to take that call from her. I like that she was almost now the alcoholic calling him, and he's not picking up that phone. And apparently he's drinking coffee at the end.
He just put his wine in a coffee mug. That's how smart he's got now.
Yes, that's
Now
it. Yeah,
he just evolved. That's what he learned from this case.
he's a functioning alcoholic
Yeah.
now.
See, I took that last scene as, like, for one, how did he know she was calling?
I think he may have assumed by the time of night, got a sense.
I just assumed that, yes, she'd be calling, but it's almost like he doesn't want to, or doesn't need to take another job on, or like he's not up to another job because that was hard enough.
I think it was the way that it was sort of framed by her drinking and looking desperate and calling him, and him. It felt to me more like it was okay. I don't need that bitch. Not to put too fine a point on it, but like, yeah, fuck you. I don't need that shit.
I just saw kind of the parallels of him like going out of his way to get any work, like trawling through funeral homes and everything, just to get a little job. Where now he's just sitting there, smoking a cigarette, having a coffee, and he's like, "I'm fine."
I'm fine. Yeah. That was kind of nice. That's what the shame of it was. Like, you have a few stylish moments in there, but just, oh man, it was
I just don't know if
shame.
it's a film that we have seen before done better as well. That is,
100%.
But it's like in the 80s. I mean, obviously these films were around, but were they around like we have them today?
Well,
Is it a
they were
diluted
around in like
market?
the 40s and the 50s. If you think of like To Kill
I mean,
a
it was like-
Mockingbird, man, that
To be
like
fair,
one of the original
like 12
courtroom
Angry Men, all that
stories.
kind of stuff. It was
Yeah.
like you put one room, you can create a lot of drama in one room. True.
And the
It's
amount
cheap
of
and
drama
theatre, innit?
that the amount of drama you got just from having those men in that room. Iconic, wonderful, human emotion. You're there every step of the way. You're there. This was a film where you had 2 hours. You're covering familial relatives of a girl who's in this tragic coma that she's going to be in for the rest of her life. You've got this horrible empire essentially against her. You've got both religion and lawyers against her. And somehow I still don't feel anything. Like, this is the thing. When they set it up that the church was behind it all, I was like, oh, I'm really going to hate these people. And I didn't even hate them. That's the thing. It's like, you had the church there and you couldn't make me hate these people. I'm ready to hate the church at a drop of a hat. And I didn't feel it. Did you? I know you don't like religion, Paul. How did you feel about that shit?
I feel like they were trying to almost give them a pass at the end by showing that last priest or whatever, but by saying, well, did you believe her?
Yeah.
And they all kind of had that silence where he
Yeah.
was almost like, well, we should really not be winning this case, because if that's true, then that's horrible kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel that they're trying to give religion a pass.
I mean, in a way, it wasn't the church's fault, and the church just, I hate to
They
say
just
that.
fucking own the hospital, don't they?
They own the hospital, but they did try and buy. They made an offer. Like, the guy was like, "Let's just make an offer," which he then
Yeah.
rejected. Right, but
I wish
What
you'd taken that offer now, and we wouldn't have to sat through this.
10-minute film.
what would the ethical thing have been for the religious guy who owned the hospital to do at that moment? Like, if you're that person, right, and you've just been told 2 of your professional doctors have potentially let this woman die, what do you do?
Fire
Well,
the doctors.
that's the thing.
You
It's like,
investigate.
I guess you would investigate, but it goes to the courts, doesn't it? That's just the normal thing to do. Talk between lawyers. They sort it out. Like, what else would you do? Like, pay someone without a lawyer there? Or that's all it does. That's a normal thing to do. Take it to court.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I kind of could take from this film is that even though it went to court, it kind of felt like the film was saying, it didn't feel like a happy ending. Even though for him, he's not taking her call at the end, and even though they win the case, it didn't feel like a happy ending. It felt like a kind of bitter ending. It was like, yeah, okay,
Nobody's won.
there's justice here, but it's too little too late.
Yeah.
She's dead, essentially.
Yeah.
This poor woman's lost her sister.
It's like, yeah, they've got money, but what's that? It doesn't bring her back.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's just for the sister to go off and enjoy some holidays. What's she going to do with that money? Oh, no, she actually wanted it to have care, didn't she, for the sister?
Yes.
But I'm sure if the jury wanted to give him a lot of money, so I'm sure she could also have some holidays with that money.
If you watch that scene back, when the member of the jury says, "Can we increase the reward?" Bruce Willis is nodding and smiling like a motherfucker in the background.
So, but someone's editing that film going, who is that man?
Yes,
Bring him
exactly.
to me.
Get him in. Get him in. He's going to be a star, baby.
Put him in a tower block and watch him roll.
Exactly. Shave all that hair off him. Come on. Yeah. The thing I was waiting for was the good dialogue, and it never came, man.
No.
This is David Mamet. This is Glengarry Glen Ross writer.
I think the best little bit of writing really was when they're sitting and they're meeting the judge for the first time, and immediately as you go into that room, I'm always like, oh look, they're friends, like the other lawyer and the judge.
Yeah, because they're
And
already
then-
there.
And he's like, what would it take for your client to walk out of here? And it's like, oh, that's not the right choice of words.
No, it's not.
Like, that's the only one of the only points I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
that is a bit below the belt.
I mean, I was, of course, on Paul Newman's side. It wasn't like I didn't
Yeah,
want
of
him to
course.
win.
Yeah.
But like you say, I just didn't feel for him enough.
no.
And I think, just because we're decent people, if we were on that jury, we wouldn't even need to hear that final thing from Paul Newman. We'd just go in and we go, yeah, fucking pay up. We put that poor woman in a coma for the rest of her life.
Do you reckon it would have been a better film if they did cut the ending off it?
Well, go on then, Adam. You said that you didn't like the thought of that. Go on. Why
I
not?
said I thought I'm quite intrigued by the thought of that. I thought,
okay, sorry.
I
missed
thought
what you
like
said.
it's such an obvious ending that you don't almost need it.
I mean, depends where it cuts.
You could have done it in a different way, but yeah.
Are you cutting after he basically?
Makes his speech and
Removes-
they file out.
Oh, okay, from there,
Yeah.
right. So they got rid of the woman's testimony, the witness from the nurse,
Yeah.
and then he does his speech and it ends.
Yeah.
Maybe not in that way, but you just don't need to see.
Well, it's almost like the viewer is the jury at the end
Yeah,
of the day.
true.
You decide. But we would have got immediately watching the film. You're like, well, fucking doctors are guilty.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but if the film had ended that way, we'd come onto this podcast and we'd now be going, so what do you think their verdict was? To be honest, at that point, I would have said, I think they're going to come back and say not guilty or no damages, because we've seen how corrupt everything is. There is no justice. That's what I thought. That's what I would think. And I almost think that is kind of why David Mamet didn't write the ending, because he wanted that ambiguity. For the optimists, they would go, yeah, okay, guilty. But for those pessimistic and realists, they'd be like, no.
I think it's a little bit to do with how the system can be corrupt,
Yeah.
and that you could have a woman who's genuinely like pouring her heart out, and they can just be like, pretend you didn't hear that,
Yeah,
and try and still win the case.
I know. Do you know what? That is some of the most ridiculous shit when it comes to courtrooms, where they're like, strike
know.
that from the record. It's like, we've heard it.
You did not hear that.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know, Paul, you've been on a jury.
Yeah.
When you go in to the room and you pass you say guilty or not guilty, do you have to justify why you've said that? And
No,
if so, do
not
you have
at
to
all.
do it? Okay, so then you've
You-
heard
you-
it, so you
you
don't have
sit-
to go.
You sit in a room, you chat about it. You literally do like what we've been doing on this podcast, chatting through the case and who believes what. No one agreed when we went in there first time, and you basically plead your case in that jury room. You don't have to say anything afterwards.
What was the split when you first went into the jury?
It was probably about a third was not guilty, and the rest were
Did you
guilty.
go not guilty in the end?
No,
You
this
went
wasn't
guilty.
fucking 12 Angry Men.
Paul sent that young boy down, that innocent young boy.
Yeah, this guy was not innocent.
What was the case? Can you tell or not?
Yeah, the case is done now, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
It was a fucking glassing.
Oh,
Someone
yes.
glassing the club. But
And it was about whether this person glassed someone or not, was it?
yeah, and they had video footage of it.
Oh,
So-
well,
yeah.
open and shut.
Didn't you do more than one?
No, just done the one.
Oh, you had to do a couple.
They can do, because you're on like a 2-week period, and depending on, like, I didn't get taken into court till about day 3 or 4, and that lasted about 3 days, and then it's just whether there's a case that you can jump on that's going to last that last bit
Yeah.
of time you got or not.
See, I got put on it. I had to do jury service, and I got taken off it.
Oh, really?
Why?
What, you didn't even have to do it?
No, they said they didn't need. They picked more jurors or something, and they didn't want me to do it.
Adam showed his prejudice up front,
Yeah,
so they had to, well, we can't have racist on the
They
jury.
saw this blonde-haired, blue-eyed white boy.
Yes.
I googled the case afterwards. I haven't got blonde hair.
You got blonde hair.
Dirty
I don't have
blonde.
blonde hair.
Dirty blonde.
You're a
I've got
dirty boy.
Brown hair.
Mousy blonde. One of them.
It was a guy. It was these two kids, about like I don't know, in their young teen or young 20s, who beat someone to death, beat a fisherman to death with a crowbar.
Fucking hell, man.
The fuck?
And then one of them got put in jail, and about 6 months after he got sentenced in jail, he was then found dead in his cell.
Good.
And
Wow.
it was like, how did the person die? Was it foul play by the prison, or what happened?
What the hell? This was the case
so that
that
was
you
the
could have
case
been on the
afterwards.
jury of?
Yeah.
Oh my god, so you gutted. You must be gutted.
It sounds like a sick one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, if he's like, did he kill himself, or was it like, I don't know.
So did you
Well-
hear the case before you got taken off it?
They said loads of things in the thing when you sign up. They're like, do you know these people?
Oh, I know why you got taken off it. Because your
Why?
dad's a policeman, so you'd instantly be
No,
going towards the police.
they didn't ask any like that. They just said, do you know these people, and do you have any relationship with this prison?
And did you?
No, because the prison's like up north somewhere.
So why did they
Definitely-
dismiss
it's
you?
Definitely because your dad's a policeman.
They just
Yeah,
had loads
it's
of
gotta
people.
be.
They had like, I think they just said that we've allocated the people now. So they have like 20 people go forward, and then they probably pick the people they want.
Interesting. I
It's
would
interesting.
love to be involved in jury
It's good.
service.
You just got to hope for a good case. If it's like fraud or something, it's fucking boring, mate.
Oh yeah, I know. Ugh.
Mine was fairly interesting. There was no actual proper victims. Obviously, it was just a glass in. No one was killed or anything. So it was fun for that. But
Yes.
you know, I can imagine a proper murder can be very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Also pretty fucked up as well.
Pretty fucked up, but very interesting.
I was in the Old Bailey. I did law at A level, and we went to the Old Bailey for a couple of hours to sit on a case in the viewing gallery up top. And there was a guy who was up for rape and potentially murder. I can't remember. And we were there, and the guy who was being questioned on the stand was the guy who ran the scrapyard where supposedly the perp had taken his calf to be destroyed. And the guy, whoever he was, the guy who ran that scrapyard, couldn't have sounded more guilty and more complicit if he tried. Like, he must have destroyed that guy's case. Like, that guy, I don't know what happened, but that guy must have gone down just based on how cagey
Yeah.
this fucking guy was being.
Wow.
Anyway,
It is pretty interesting.
should we give our
It's
final
interesting.
thoughts on this
Yes,
film?
it was more interesting than this film.
Yes, I think that's it.
unfortunately.
Look how interested we were in each other's cases that we worked on, rather than
I know.
the
But
case
look
of
at
this film.
All of these real cases, much more interesting than this fantasy case.
Yes, because they're living in a fantasy courtroom where the judge is just like so blatantly corrupt.
I know. Can I just top up my coffee? I've got the French press over on the table
Yes.
over there. I
It's
just
a
need
very
to...
coffee-related episode.
Yeah,
so
it
yes,
is.
please.
Excuse me. I need to top up my coffee.
Well,
Ben, you're back with your coffee. Would you like to give some whatever final thoughts you want, and then give your score, maybe?
Like I say, I'm disappointed. I'm sure it's perfectly serviceable as a film, I guess, to watch once and take some stuff from. Looking at the good side, I like that it kind of does feel a bit frustrating and bitter rather than plain sailing to get to justice. And I think too much harm has been done for there to be any happy ending in this, but it just wasn't an enjoyable ride. And for that reason, and with regret, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10.
okay. So yeah, I don't dislike it as much as Ben does, but yeah, I feel like it could have been a lot better, especially now talking to you guys about it more, put a bit more clarity within our thoughts. But I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh Lord,
Interesting. Okay.
Lord.
But well, that one
Well-
extra point is making you do that, Ben.
Yeah, it's very lordy. I am going to go, Ben. It is a 6 out of 10 for me. I think
we
I've
go.
kind of said my points about the stupid little courtroom they got here. And, 6 out of 10 for me. I was hoping we were going to get a number of the beast, but Sorry, Adam, you didn't.
No 666 for us.
No.
Oh, it would have been fitting with a film about the church as well.
It would have been. So that gives us, boys, an average of 6.33, which I think is what we gave Diner. So that means, and we are doing this off record, I'll tie it in again. That means that, no, what did we give Diner?
6.33.
Oh,
We
it's all
gave Diner a
sixes.
6, didn't we? Because I
It was
gave
all
it
sixes
a
for
5,
Diner.
you gave it a 6, and Paul gave it a 7 or something like that, wasn't it?
Holy shizer, yeah. We took a little time out there, listeners. We averaged our scores. It is 6.3, and we have gone through our 6.3s, and we have decided that it sits above the Age of Innocence, but below the house that Jack built. It's about 5 or 6 clear of the relegation zone. Above the Age of Innocence, but below the house that Jack built. And the reason it's above the Age of Innocence is because that actually got a 6.25 rather than a 6.33, so it doesn't even come into
Is
contention.
that because Julio was with us, wasn't it?
That's because
Yes.
he was with us. So that means all the films that are better on this scoring point are The House That Jack Built, Bright, Bride of Reanimator, Frozen 2, Terminator Dark Fate, and Tetsuo the Iron Man. I agree with maybe 2 or 3 of those being better, but that's democracy for you folks.
Democracy. Well, that is the end of the verdict, and that is also the end of 1982. So should we give a little wrap up of 1982, our best of 1982, what we thought?
I got a better idea.
Go on.
Why don't we give our verdict on 1982?
Oh, very good.
Yes.
I find it guilty.
Yeah, guilty as charged. I got to say, this is probably the worst year we've covered so far.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Only King of Comedy has been the good one.
There is so many big films
Yeah.
of this year that we just didn't cover, so I wouldn't say it's a reflection of the year, but
No, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a reflection of our choices, but that's
yeah, we
good.
tried to go out of the box on this one. At least you two did, anyway.
Yeah. I think it was 6s all round apart from King of Comedy this year, yeah?
Pretty much,
For this
yeah.
year. Fucking hell. Okay, boys. Well, since we're at the end of 1982 and at the end of another year, who was your favourite character from these 1982 films we covered?
Okay, my favourite character was Jono. Does anyone know who Jono is?
The fuck I do. Who the hell's that?
The actor's Kim Chan, and he's the butler from King of Comedy.
Oh, great.
He's wonderful.
Great
Fucking loved
choice.
him.
I'm going to go for the Weed Man in Creepshow. 'Cause you
Oh,
hated
you
him.
would.
Oh,
You.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Poison you are. Well,
Just like Stephen King.
I'm going to bring it right back to King of Comedy. Of course, it's Rupert Pupkin. He's the king of
Aw.
1982 for me.
Of course, I can take that.
What about your favourite or best line from these 1982 films?
My one is from King of Comedy, and it is the classic one. He says, you can either be king for a day or schmuck for a lifetime.
Excellent.
Saw that coming. I had a feeling you were
Great.
going to say that one, Adam.
Yes.
I'm thinking that maybe me and Ben have got the same one.
Okay, off the 3. 1, 2, 3. Where's my Father's Day cake, Bedelia?
I actually put the other line, which is,
Oh.
Happy Father's Day, I got my cake.
Excellent. Mate, I am remembering so much. I've carried that scene more than anything else from 82.
That's the only thing I carried from that one segment of that thing. That's the bit I actually really liked.
Oh,
apart
it's
from the rest
fun.
of it.
As time has passed, I'm looking back more fondly on Creepshow, I've got to say. Doesn't mean it's a better film, but I've got fond memories of it.
Would you just want to rewatch that first one again?
I'd probably watch that Tide one again, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
would watch The Crate again.
Would you like to watch
those
Creepshow 2?
Probably not, because are King and Romero involved?
Yes. Stephen King's in that one as well, I think.
Did he write them all?
I think so.
Well,
Have a
maybe.
look.
Anyway, and final one, the best scene.
The best scene.
Yes.
My best scene is when the camera's zooming out from the wall in King of Comedy as Rupert Pupkin does his routine, and it's like the whole wall of audience. I think it's just such a great shot.
Oh, yes.
Such a great little scene of him just rehearsing and being in his own little element in his little bedroom.
Yeah, it's fantastic. That is. Mine is the record scene in Diner, because it's the best scene in an otherwise mediocre movie, and it also kind of represents a lot of the selfishness of men in the films that we've watched in this this year. Rupert Pupkin, the guys in Diner, even Paul Newman to an extent in this. self-pitying and all that
it's
shit.
True. It's true.
I'm going to say the end of King of Comedy. I like that one. When it shows you how fucked up humanity can be when he
he
becomes
shoots
famous.
Robert De Niro.
Yes.
That bit, yeah.
De Niro shoots De Niro.
Excellent. Well, there we go, and that's 1982, boys.
Well, 1982. I think you got that right. Talking about what 1982 has brought us, it is the selfishness of man, I guess.
Yeah, selfish,
Or the
self-obsessed. Yes,
self-absorbed.
It's still that era of cinema.
Look at that
100%.
guy who so much wanted a cake. Oh, get over yourself.
yes, exactly.
The man who wanted to be famous.
Yes, exactly.
The man who hate their wives.
Yeah,
And love each other. All love each other. They only love men. We love men.
Yeah, all these bloody men. Men. What's the matter with us?
What are we doing out here?
We're ruining everything. We're ruining everything.
Look at us here, self-absorbed, making a podcast.
I know.
Thinking
Listen,
we're the
listen to
shit.
us. Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to us.
People say send a film to us and then we just rip it apart.
Oh, who do you think we are?
I know. Pardon me. Excuse me very much.
Should we talk about what we're doing next year?
Oh, yes.
Oh, fuck.
I think we should do a little header here, just saying that for your reference, they are bringing us a new round, and it is the round of drumroll. What is it, Ben?
It's 2019.
Oh, yes.
Very recent.
Big jump forward.
And they have picked a film for us, which I guess we just won't reveal yet, since
No.
they're not yet able to join us. They'll join us later in this round with their pick.
Yes.
Which means Adam will be the first to pick a 2019 film.
Are you ready?
I hope you're going to pick what I think you're picking.
I have no idea what the boy's going to pick.
Obviously, 2019 is a year we have covered end to end, middle and middle, gone back and watched
Up and down, left and
down.
right,
Exactly.
buttered the bread on both sides.
Yes, we've gone back and we went to the cinema a lot. We covered a lot on the podcast and watched a lot of films, probably over lockdown, that have come out from that year.
Oh, mercy, yes.
So I feel like I'm going to take the route that I went for when I did Batman and Robin, and I'm picking something that didn't get well received that we might have missed. It's got a lot of coverage at the time, and I don't know how one of us in this podcast is going to feel about doing it, but the film is Cats.
Oh, fucking
I knew you were
hell.
going to pick this film. I knew it. This had to be the one.
Can we go back and do Midsummer?
Have you seen any of it, Ben?
I haven't seen what
I tried watching one of it when I had the COVID Christmas, and I got about 20 minutes into it and turned it off. But we're going to go and roll with it again.
We might have a new bottom film.
I hope we do.
Listen, for anything,
Fucking
I'm just
hell.
really excited just to rip a film apart, and we
Can we watch
all
this?
be
Can we watch
together
this
ripping
cut
it.
without James Corden in it?
Is there
I
one?
don't think there is
We
one.
should
Mate.
make one.
Jesus Christ, Adam. I mean, we have to be, in order for this to become, I can't believe we're already talking about this when we haven't seen the film, but in order for this to become our worst ever film, we have to all vote it 1. It's the only way it goes below American Psycho 2, which got a 1.7.
So, but that's because it got a 112, right?
Yeah.
112, yeah.
So
I'm sure
it could still go below.
If it's a 1.7. It should have had a
122.
Yeah,
It was a 122, yeah. So at least
Oh,
two of us
122.
need to give it a 1.
Okay.
But I am not going to vote on that basis. I'm not going to vote on the basis of eliminating it to the bottom spot.
No. I'll be honest.
This is our first James Corden movie, isn't it?
Yes.
God.
At first, probably Judi Dench as well. And did we do James Bond?
Yeah, probably.
That's just horrendous. Just
Yes.
horrendous.
Also, just for the listeners to know, I did maybe pose redoing a film we've done before, and we weren't against it. And I think Ben's regretting his decision to not redo that film.
Our dear Adam suggested we potentially revisit Midsummer, but on reflection, we realised that me
we
and
gonna
Paul
talk
just
about?
like it too much that we wouldn't have anything new to say about it that we hadn't already said.
Yeah.
But I'd be more than happy to praise Midsummer all over again.
The
I'll be
hardest part
weeping
about
with
this
this
is going to
one.
be getting through that film. It's also quite
yeah.
a long film.
1 hour 50.
Fuck. Let's have a look at some of our dear ones to see what they give that, to see if there's any hope. Someone I respect. Oh, of course it would be. Julio, as always, is the anomaly. Julio gives it a 7 out of 10. I'm not going to read his review, Most people on here on my letterbox are giving it a 1 or a 1.
The
a
highest, apart from Julio, is if someone's giving it a 3. And a 5 from Verbal Diorama.
Julio's up high. I've got a couple of 5s, and then Luke gives it a 4. So there is some redemption to be found in it.
Yeah, I mean, a 4 is not...
I know, it's not high praise, but at least
Are
it's
you
not
ready
a
for
1.
this? You can have coolant all over your face, Ben.
Well, wouldn't be the first time.
Well, I'm excited just to slate something for once.
Good.
I'm pretty sure we're all going to slate this film. Surely.
I know.
Well, listen, it's about cats, and I like cats.
Oh, there you go. There's
Do
your
you
in.
like,
You're
do you
in.
like human cats?
I don't like human cats. I like Maureen Penderosa.
I'm going to put it out that if your cat destroys your TV watching this film, I'm not paying the damages.
Oh, painful what you've done, Adam.
Also, Ben, have you seen the new game that's on PlayStation Plus this month?
Stray.
Yeah, you just walk around as a stray cat.
Yes, I know. I'm very excited for it, mate.
It's out now.
I know. I think I have to get it because I've got PlayStation Plus Essentials. I haven't got PlayStation Plus Premium.
Got a week of cats ahead of you.
Lots of cats. Well, I believe that Adam is sending us to hell before I send you to heaven with the pick afterwards. So worry not.
Wonderful. Right, that's exciting. Should we move on to our patrons have to say this week?
Yes.
Right, so we get our patrons to send over what they've been watching this week. And if you want to do that, then you can go to www.patreon.com/filmbusters. We have a wonderful patron, and you can send us across your reviews every week that we can read out on the podcast. You can get exclusive episodes. You can suggest things for us to do on the podcast. And you could have become part of the wonderful Filmbusters family, just like the likes of Andy Bishop.
Yes, you can. You always have Ben from Film Vloggers, not from Filmbusters.
You can get Mark and Steve, both from the Movie Drone household.
Hell yeah, you can get Brent from Home Video Hustle.
Yes, you can. We've also got Jason Clarkson.
He's from Football Land. You can have Luke Human from I Can Write Reviews Like a Motherfucking Pro Land.
And then we got Fiona Stewart. She's the massive Joaquin Phoenix fan.
She also pushed back on our King of Comedy, didn't she, I think?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen what she has to say about it yet. But
She reared her head when we spoke about Joaquin again.
You also have the music man, Sean Panda Nicholson.
He is the music man. He come from far away.
Lane.
Oh, well, we had 2 different lyrics there, which is the correct one. Quickly Google it.
One's north and one's south lyrics of London.
I know. So what did I say? I come from far away. And you say I come from down
your lane.
I'm going to Google it. I am the music man. Lyrics. It is I come from down your way. Okay.
You're both wrong.
So neither of us were right.
No.
It's a merger.
I was right.
merger.
Adam gets a point.
Great. Good. And you can also be like our wonderful Nerd Revert, who's out there taking it easy for all us sinners.
Then we have also Julio for the Contrarians.
Yes, we do. We have the man who was responsible for this year and is now bowing out for the next people after this, but Jamie Russell.
And finally, but not lastly, we have Katie and Oti, who, I don't know if by the time this episode comes out, their exciting news will be unleashed on the world yet, but the exciting news is still out there.
Yes.
It's bubbling.
So thanks to all of you lot for
Thank you.
making sure that we can buy coffee.
Thank you so much. Wonderful coffee.
Yes.
But first of all,
We don't even use this money for coffee.
I use all the Patreon money for coffee. You didn't know this?
Well, that's where it all goes, and that's when
That's
me
where
and
it all goes into
very
my
expensive
coffee pot.
Colombian coffee.
Yeah. You want to hear
Sounds
your
like a
patrons?
completely
Do you want to hear your
different
money swilling around in my mug? Listen.
Or in your mouth. Swilling.
if you call it Colombian coffee, that just sounds like he's spending it on drugs.
Yeah. He might be.
You talked over the swilling of the coffee, so they didn't fucking hear it, did they?
Sure, it's going to be on your mic, not on. You'll be on your sound. We'll just edit us 2 out.
Forget the whole thing.
Forget it.
Anyway, this is what our patrons have to say. First we have Sean Panda Nicholson, and he says, well, I watched Justin Kurzel's disturbing and really haunting Nitram the other day. It's an amazing and powerful film that the Movie Drone guys recommended and are doing an episode on Sunday. That's a little plug there for Movie Drone. I really want to gush about the intricacies of the film, but I feel like it's a film that works best going in Baccarat blind. Hell yeah. All I can say is Caleb Landry Jones's performance is incredible, and the film has genuinely left me disturbed and has been really playing on my mind since I watched it, and I highly recommend you seeking it out. It's up there one of the favourites of 2022 so far, although I never ever want to see it again. This just came out of nowhere, this film. I'd never heard of it, and then everyone's watching it and raving about it.
It was one that I didn't get into a screening of at the London Film Festival last year.
Oh, really?
And
Is that long ago?
Very gutted to not get in, but it's
Is it
about
out on streaming or something then?
Yeah, I think so. It's about a mass shooting. It's a true story that happened.
Oh.
A young kid, and they kind of focus on what led him to that moment, like his family life and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And that Caleb Landry Jones is such a disquieting, uncomfortable presence on camera. Whenever I see him, he makes my skin itch.
Well, I'm interested to watch that. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm
Check it out soon.
very up for that one. High praise, Sean.
Yes, next up we have Jamie Russell, and he says, I would like to mention a lovely little British film called Brian and Charles. It's a mockumentary that follows the experiences of the lonely inventor who creates a robot for company. This film becomes a wholly captivating story of discovery and friendship, as the robot symbolically represents all the stages of bringing up a child. To say more might ruin it, but what a delight. Life-affirming experience. I'm going to take my eldest daughter to see it next week, as I enjoyed it so much.
Wow.
This is a new film then?
Yeah, it's that guy from
Afterlife.
Derek and Afterlife.
Derek and Afterlife, yeah.
okay.
It looks funny. It looks like he's playing exactly the same character, but I think that's kind of his stick.
Oh, I
I
like
don't
that guy.
know that
saw
I
him
like
do
that
stand-up.
stick, though.
I saw him do stand-up before. He's quite good.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
That's
I
a
don't know if I
different-
like that guy, is the
Yeah.
problem. He's too gross for me.
I enjoy it, but this doesn't feel like he's playing an overly gross character. He's just playing that kind of outcast. Not really like a dirty outcast like he plays normally. Just like a kind of cute and you feel sorry for him kind of outcast.
I saw that robot. It's uncomfortable looking as well.
It is a very...
Yes.
I'm just looking at a picture of it now.
It's all uncomfortable films that people
It's
are
made
bringing
out
to our
of
door.
a washing machine, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to add it to my watch list.
I'll give it a whirl then.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Gonna bosh that one out, yeah?
Yeah, that's very good too. Oh, look at all these fucking washing machine puns. Let's have another.
I can't think of another washing machine brand.
Neither can I. LG.
LG.
He just says the name.
Just say the name.
Life's good.
Well, cheers for that, Jamie. We'll add that to the list. Next up is Luke, who says The Bad. Spiderway. Spiderway, baby, don't hurt me. Luke Human says The Bad. Let me start again. Luke Human says, The Bad, Spider-Man No Way Home, really too much going on to be enjoyable. Holland's charm goes a long way, but
What are you thinking of? Spiderway?
Spider-Way. Oh, dear. It's like the end of a Movie Drone episode.
Oh, dear.
Right, and finally, Luke Human, who says, The Bad, Spider-Man No Way Home. Really too much going on to be enjoyable. Holland's charm goes a long way, but so much plot logic is sacrificed to fan service, and there is nothing that the character has not done better before. The MCU is clearly in danger of imploding under its own self-important weight. Well said, Luke
You
Human.
added that.
You added some sentences there for Luke.
Well,
You got a bit too carried away with
I'm
it.
just embellishing on his
He's
point.
eloquent enough, Ben, without you adding.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I agree, Luke. I agree.
I agree with it's in danger of imploding on its own weight. It's very much at that point right now. It is very much a fan service film. If you're not into it, you will not like it. It's what everyone was saying about like Ghostbusters.
There's a couple of films.
He's
Also
angry
Matrix
right
as
now.
well. And Matrix.
Have you seen Monty Python's The Meaning of Life? Where,
Yes.
where the old boy is sat in the restaurant, keeps eating, gets fatter and fatter and
Indeed.
fatter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that is what movie-going audiences are, who keep eating up Marvel. And
Isn't
they just
it
think...
actual,
they
isn't
think
it what Marvel are like?
No, because it's the audiences sitting getting fat on shit until they explode.
Okay.
Anyway, enough about
I'm
that.
very obese.
Moving on, he says the best, and it's the first time ever, I think. He says Nitram too. I went in completely Bacurau. He said Bacurau too, knowing exactly nothing about the plot or cast, and was totally shocked as to where this ended up. Landry Jones puts in a career-best performance as the title character, portraying an individual suffering from poor mental health with pathos and attention to detail in order to be disturbingly captivating. Shot intimately with loads of close-ups, we are forced to confront Nitram as a human story rather than a narrative account of events, prompting the viewer to go beyond a reactionary impulse. Great, powerful cinema. I can't wait to watch this Nitram, man.
Yeah, man.
2 of them endorsing it. That's
enough.
going to be some dark watching.
Has to be watched.
That's going to go into the top 10 of 2022. I have a hunch.
Oh, might have to watch it this weekend.
Oh, well.
Well, thank you, wonderful patrons. You've made some wonderful suggestions.
Thanks for what you've
Thanks.
put here.
That was the end of 1982.
Yeah.
Let's get ready for 2019. Go and watch that Cats. Let's get some cats in ya.
Cats up inside you, finding an entrance. And listeners, we'll be recording the Cats episode next Friday. The following day, I'll be at the same music festival as Adam. So if it is atrocious, I'll be able to pummel him mercilessly in
I
person.
forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll make sure to record that for all your listening pleasure.
Just at
I
the
know
end.
it's bad, but I didn't even get through it. But I want you to. If I've watched it, you've got to watch it.
My palate will be cleansed that night, because that night I'm going to see that play with Hopper from Stranger Things and the detective from The Sinner,
Oh, nice.
Madhouse, that night.
And then you're going to see me the next night.
So I'll need my palate cleansed again after that too.
Will you? But you'll see Jungle that night as well. Still clean.
That'd be the palate cleanser.
Yes.
And then I'll come home and brush my teeth, and that will really cleanse my palate.
And then you'll have a nice sour beer.
And then I'll drink some milk.
Oh, nice. Curdled.
You will be
Pardon?
drinking milk after watching James Corden lick it out of a bowl.
Lapping.
Ugh.
Lapping it up.
Getting it all over his CGI whiskers.
Cats don't drink milk. Or, well, they do, but they shouldn't. It's bad for them. You must give them water.
Tom and Jerry's fault, mate.
Yeah. All that cats with the cream and milk. You offer Max cream and milk. He don't want no business. He doesn't want any of that business.
No, sirree. I don't want any of that dairy.
He don't like when we're having fish. Not interested in fish. But if you've got a bit of asparagus on the side of that fish, he will eat that fucking asparagus up.
Will he put a fish in his mouth and pull the fish out and it's just the fish bones?
Just the fish bones, no, because I would try and gut them for him before I offer.
If he gets scared, does he stand on the tippy toes of his things with an arched back and have his hair dancing on end?
Yes,
Oh,
he
yeah.
does. And he often jumps out of bins when I'm scared.
Cats.
Fieldbuster.